she's been endorsed by all 50 state party chairs, which is pretty big, including obviously House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and then the maybe would be rivals. So people who you might assume could throw their name into their name into the ring, hat in the ring now, like Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, Gavin Newsom of California, Pete Buttigieg of the Department of Transportation, that country, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Mark Kelly of Arizona, J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, Bashir of Kentucky, and then other fools I don't know. So it's pretty
front runners, other fools,
and other fools we don't care about. No, so it's pretty much not a wrap, but those are the folks who've already endorsed her. Here's what I wanted to talk to you about, Nato, because she was the Attorney General of California for 7-8 years, and she was the District Attorney of San Francisco for, I believe, 2 terms. And I want to talk about where she stands on the issues. If I can actually scroll down, delete this. My scroll isn't working.
Can I offer?
Thank you. Wait.
No.
I've got it. I've scrolled.
Okay. I was going to help.
Oh, help. Go ahead.
So, because so first of all, like one of the like weird and gross things is that like literally is that our former mayor Willie Brown, who's all like in his 80s, like,
you mean this Willie Brown, the one who Matt Walsh tweets Kamala Harris is Willie Brown's most successful mistress,
right? Like
Reddit
Willie Brown
is
at every opportunity, like this week was like, yeah, I hit that. So
he's like, I don't want you to forget.
Yeah, never
no, but
forget.
They were actually together.
Yeah. And then, so she, like, San Francisco has a reputation for being like a, tech dystopia nightmare, but don't forget people outside of San Francisco that we're also corrupt, but we're corrupt in a stupid way. And so Kamala Harris got elected as district attorney in 2003 in the wake of a corruption scandal called Fajita Gate.
Love it. I love that.
Some cops had a fist fight. Some off-duty cops had a fist fight over a bag of takeout fajitas outside of a bar in the Marina District, which is one of the lamest, most bougie, posh neighborhoods in town.
Yeah, they spent way too much on those fajitas.
And then there was a cover-up of the fight, and it was in that somehow out of that scandal we get Kamala Harris as DA. She was like locally, she was known as super smart, but like not a progressive reformer. That she would, in terms of like issues around truancy of students, supporting locking up young people. She was not sympathetic to the city's sanctuary policy and supported, coordinating with immigration agencies around people who were undocumented, who got, caught up in law enforcement situations. But, as she rose, she like they do sort of, moved to the main line of the Democratic Party and stayed with it, which, fortunately has like for the most part moved to the left over.
Well, one of the interesting things she did is she was endorsed by the police union when she was a DA, and then declined to seek the death penalty for a cop killer, which is great. I mean, that's like a low bar in my opinion. I mean, if we're leftists, that's a low bar, but still she lost the endorsement of the police union because that, and they were incensed, and that was a whole thing. As also Attorney General of California, she went after banks for their unfair mortgage practices, predatory practices, went after for-profit universities, oil companies like Chevron and BP for illegal practices and environmental damage. Under her, tutelage in her term, California was the first state to adopt body cam policies in 2015. She launched implicit bias trainings, and then also had like a database for people who died while in custody. She pushed for a moratorium on the death penalty later while she was in the Senate. So it's interesting, and this I'm curious about your thoughts on it, because the whole like Kamala's a cop, Kamala's a prosecutor. I understand that, and that's very true. And generally, we don't like prosecutors, but I do think that compared to a lot of folks, her familiarity with the justice system and the ways it does and does not work for most Americans, and particularly, obviously, Black and Brown Americans, poor Americans, that I think could be um, like a positive. Like that could be a plus for her, right? Considering what we've seen, which is, politicians who just say, rattle off, yeah, fund the police, fund the police. And I'm not saying she won't denounce defund the police. That seems to be sort of like a barrier to entry of the Democratic Party if you're going to be in leadership. But I do think she has more intimate knowledge of that. And so where Joe Biden has done fuck all around criminal justice reform, I could look to Kamala to actually do something much more broad sweeping, much more, like more impactful. I mean, I know body cams and taking a database and, implicit bias training, that's all like mealy mouth lib shit. But that was years ago in the state. And so I actually think that would be helpful for her in the future. But I'm curious on your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, the like I we can hold the contradictions. We can recognize that like at the moment, Kamala is like we have a better hope to have a united front to stop fascism and be clear-eyed that the fucking job of the president of the United States is to be a competent manager of a capitalist war machine. Um,
Mhm.
and you know, I don't expect the president of the United States to not be that. So I want to get the best version of that I can get. And it's not like I'm not mad about the ways that they're not, but
Mhm.
I also reckon, it's like in, California is a, you know, consistently like, will vote for the, like Republicans are boxed out of state politics.
Mhm.
Um, and Republicans can't get above 35% at any statewide race, and yet like we're still having huge challenges getting any kind of like sort of squad type political challenger through the Democratic Party within California. So it's like
Yeah.
if we can't get like a true like a Ilhan Omar type elected to Congress from Oakland, uh, or I mean,
Wow. Shots fired at Barbara Lee.
actually, we may be about to, because Latifah Simon is as close as it gets. She's Barbara Lee's and Latifah's
Successor.
fantastic, but
Yeah.
uh, but the we can't get like in San Francisco right now. Everyone, people are running for mayor with different versions of pro cop politics in San Francisco. So it's
Yeah.
like it's disappointing that our politics are what they are. But I'm not going to be mad at the president when we can't contend for power at like even at the most basic local levels.
That's very true. I mean, that's very true. I mean, that's a whole that could take us down a whole winding road of California politics. But I do want to say that running for president in 2020, Kamala Harris was to the left of Joe Biden, absolutely, and did call him out for like supporting busing at the time, and then gladly was like, "Yes, I'll be your Veep." But she was for Medicare for all. She had a whole plan laid out on her, website. She had a 10-year phase-in plan that involved buying into Medicare so basically creating a public option and allowing Medicare to be expanded over this 10-year phase to all people, not just some people, all people, which, mind you, I know people are like, what about Medicare for all now? Well, that was Bernie's plan. Bernie's plan was always, let's lower it to 55, then we'll keep on going. Like, so it was always a phase in kind of thing. And she also was a co-sponsor of the Green New Deal. So like that's not like a later in the campaign. Okay, I like a Green New Deal. Not a Nancy Pelosi. Is that a green dream? It's a green dream, which is a Raffi song. But no, she was like a co-sponsor of it. So there are good things. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do it.